So this is the second part of two videos about Mitchie's Proverb 20, which is the kind of the enigmatic title, Do You Feel Good About Your Priming Battle? There's nothing new in this video moving on from the last one, but just a series of positions that Mitchie gives and to apply this rule about priming and whether we should be engaging in a priming race. So, as we said in the last video, there's really just at the start of the game, you've got two choices. You're either trying to prime or you're trying to blitz. And linked in with the blitz very much is the idea if you can't actually hit your opponent, you try to race. So you're priming or you're trying to race around hitting your opponent on the way. We know at the back that against a prime you should split, but against a blitz you should never split. They're just basic rules that we've done in earlier proverbs that we just kind of constantly need to bear in mind. But really the big thing is in attack. So if we're ahead in the priming battle, we want to prime, but if we aren't ahead, we need, as I said in the other video, if we're not going to win the priming battle, it's futile to try and just keep priming. We need to do something else. So we need to try and blitz or race. So I'm going to start with a couple of positions that Mitchie gives. Here we've got a 6-2 to play. You could race from the back, but really you're probably going to play the 6 down from the 13 point to the 7. It's what you do with the 2. You can bring it down here. But before you do that, in the last video I had a big stop sign that popped up. We need to stop and say, well, look, who is doing what here in this race? We'll compare ourselves to black. We're white down the bottom there. And you compare that to black up the top. Black, which of us has the better priming, better priming battle position? We both have a 3 prime, so that's fair enough. But black looks much better poised to expand it. They have nice low checkers there, which means there's huge flexibility. They have loads of checkers in the 13 point. Machi, I suppose Mitchie would say, that one of the big indicators of whether you get good priming opportunities is do you have spare checkers in the 13 point to bring down as builders, and black does, we don't. And in the race, we're ahead in the race. So we said before that the person who's behind in the race is much more advantaged. It's actually counterintuitively you want to be behind in the race if you're priming. So, and I also look at us down the white at the bottom with that big stack on our 6 point, which is very inflexible. So we're looking to hit and kind of follow in with those 10 checkers we have in the zone. So for that reason, bringing a builder down from 13 to 11 doesn't really achieve anything. We're not trying to create a prime, so bringing that from 13 to 11 is a bit pointless, whereas we know we should split into a prime. Black is the stronger prime, so we use the 2 to split at the back. And that's anything else. If you look at the 13-11, 13-7 move, you look at the size of that blunder, 219 millipoints. Were we to bring the 2 down. In fact, we're better off just running from the back, which is still a big error. But the right move is to bring one down to 13-7 and then split at the back. Here's another position and how we're going to play the 6-1. There's options. If you kind of look at there's certainly a good racing opportunity here by playing 24 to 18 and then moving it from 18 to 17 to hit. We could certainly do that as an option, but let's just look at the different primes. Black possibly is ahead in the priming situation at the minute, but Black's ability to extend their position up the top there into a solid prime is pretty limited. Yes, they have the checkers on the 13 point, but there's gaps already begin to see, kind of bridge there. Whereas if you look down the bottom, we have 2 builders in place already. We've kind of better timing for the prime, and crucially, we're behind in the race. So we could come out and hit black like that, but we're better off. In this case, we're the slightly stronger prime. We're further back. We're in a better position, so we don't split at the back. Instead we make our 5 point and say that we'll take our chances in a priming battle. Here's another position with a 5-3, and a couple of options here. But before we do anything, let's stop and think about the positions. What's black doing up the top there? 2 big stacks, 10 checkers in the zone. Gaps, yes, like black does, something like what would give them be a help to them? Double 1s definitely might help them start building a prime, maybe double 2s. but they're not. The two big stacks there are probably say they're more likely to be trying to blitz. Down the bottom, on the other hand, we have a lovely starter of prime. We've rolled double ones. We have a nice little opportunity to build a prime there, and so we should be thinking about priming. So, looking at this, 5 and 3. Well, one thing we do is play in, make our 3 point with the 5, 8 to 3, and 6. What's that? 6 to 3. Only problem is that's a blitzing move. We've created a gap. We have a 3 prime, and then we've got a gap there before our 3 point. So it's kind of undermining our priming situation. Let's put that back. Say, look, we're behind in the race. We definitely want to prime. If we bring a 5 down to the midpoint, so 13 to 8, we make our 3 prime into a 4 prime. That's quite nice. So we're definitely going to do that with the 5. So what do we do with the 3? We could split at the back, but don't forget, black has a blitzing structure. Never split into a blitz. We don't want to do that. Instead, we bring the 3 down from the midpoint. And again, it just gives us a builder there. So, a 4-1, double 4s, 6-2. We've nice little opportunities there to extend our prime even further in the future, while black is concentrating on blitzing us. So again, the key thing to all of these is just stop and say, are you priming? Are you blitzing? And what's your opponent doing? And as it's clearly there, the right move is to bring 2 down. Here's another kind of interesting situation with a 4 and a 2. We are, neither side is particularly priming, but we are behind in the race, should give us a bit of a clue. Neither side has kind of really defined their position yet, but I'm looking up the top there and were we to split at the back, really the only possible move for the 4 is to come down like that, 13 to 9. But with the 2, if we split at the back, black does have quite a little bit of flexibility there to hit us and come piling on in after us. They only have 9 checkers in the zone, but they're kind of well poised to hit us and might like to run into a blitzing game. Whereas we probably suit a priming game, so we'll put that back there instead and play a second one down from the midfield. We could, there's black will hit us with what, a 4-3, a double 4s, a 4-6, a 6-1, or a 6-2. So there's, what's that about? Did I say about 9 numbers there, 11 numbers there will hit us? I haven't been counting very carefully. But black does have chances to hit us, but if they don't, we have a great flexibility there to extend our prime, maybe make our 5 point, maybe make our bar point. There's an awful lot of options there for us if we don't get hit. And for that reason, we don't want to split at the back into blacks. Definitely looks like they'd like to offload some checkers on top of us. So here's an interesting one. Double ones, and I have to admit I got this wrong when I first kind of went through this. I thought that probably, well, based on what we've done in previous videos, trundling our back checker forward 4 times it has a huge racing advantage to us, where it would be in a strong position. But black doesn't have a particularly attractive role. Yes, I got the blocks there, but it doesn't, and they could roll something that makes them maybe double 3s or double 1s. Maybe they could get a joker roll the next go that would help them make it the start of a prime, but they're a little bit inflexible there. So whereas if we played our double 1s more conventionally, suddenly now we've got the stronger prime. We're behind in the race. We have the stronger prime. So if we have the stronger prime, if we're a priming battle, if our priming battle is strong, we should be going for that. So we don't hit at the back. We just make our stronger prime. And look at that, hitting at the back is a blunder, not just an error. Take this situation on the other hand. Again, stop and just, if you want to pause the video and just think about who's doing what here. Black at the top has quite a nice flexible priming structure. They don't have we have a 3 prime, they don't yet, but it definitely looks like they can extend that in the future. They definitely look like they're heading towards a prime. Whereas on the other hand, we've the big stack in our 6 point, a little bit of inflexibility there. We look like we're trying to blitz here. And in the race, we're ahead in the race. So again, that's telling us we should be racing and blitzing. rather than priming. So we could make our 4-point, but if we do that, what we're doing if we make our 4-point is trying to engage black in a priming battle, and we don't have the strongest prime potential here. So we're trying to take black on in the position where we're not strong. Instead, we look at black and say, well, they're priming. If we play the 3 and 2, it's from the back to make our 20-point. Effectively, we've ruined their prime because they can block us in front of it. They might get a 4 prime. They might even, if they get very lucky, make a 5 prime. But we're always going to be able to see daylight. So we've kind of nullified a lot of their priming attack. And for that reason, that's very much the right move. And making our 4-point is a blunder. Here's another option with double ones. Have a look at this. I think automatically we want to make the 5-point. That's natural to make our best point. But what do we do with the other ones? Look at the structures. Have we got a strong priming structure down the bottom with white? No, there are gaps. We've got 3 checkers on our 3-point. That's just too far advanced. We've taken a whole extra checker out of play. The 3rd checker in our 3-point is called a dilly builder. It's pointless. So we're not in a great position to make a big long prime. Black looks great though. Look at all that flexibility up the top there. All those blots for black, which we can't hit this go. So it means they'll be able to use them to make points in the next go. So we could use, we've played 2 of the ones to make our 5-point. We could play 2 more to make our bar point. But what we're doing if we do that is trying to block our opponent in. And we know we're going to be the worse off in a priming battle. Look at the race lead. We're a massive race lead. So we're going to crunch up. We might make a prime for a while, but our block, our prime is going to crunch up as we kind of run out of timing. So instead, let's go back to the start. Yes, making the 5-point is always a good thing, but we're not the primers here. Black is the primers, and you'll remember the rule. What should you do against the prime? You should split. And in particular, if we play 24 to 22, so come forward 2 with the last 2 of the ones there. Black might make a prime, and they could get a 5-3 and hit one of our checkers or something. But it's more likely black will be trying to make a prime, and we've advanced towards it. So in other words, we'll find it easier to hop over it and buy ourselves a bit of timing in the end. And there's the scores on that one. Now we get to 4-2, and again, a little bit things to be thinking of. I have to admit, you could say, well, look, let's try and block black in at the back there. Our white checkers might say black. We've got black stuck on the bar. If we play 4-2 and make our 4-point with it, we're blocking black in. Is that a good thing to do? Think about it. Let's go back to the start again. Who's got the better priming position? Black does. So if black is the better priming position, it is counterproductive to try and take them on in the area where they're stronger than us. We need to take them on where they're not stronger than us. And for that reason, making our 4-point is a priming move against a much stronger prime. Instead, let's make our 9-point fair enough. And again, what you do with your back checkers in front of a prime, you split them. So we come forward with the 2. We hope to make that black's 3-point before they can hit us. And that way, when they do make their prime, we can be able to hop over them. And we have a race lead. So if we can hop over them, we're going to win the race. So that's why we do that move. And again, look at the making our 4-point is 111 millipoint blunder. Now, we come on to the very final position of this. You can do this as a test yourself. You're going to pause and unpause. Okay, so the moral of Mitchie's story is look at the position and decide what are we doing, and that will guide you into the correct move. So we have a 4 and a 1 to play, and let's see who's doing what. Black might look like they have the stronger priming position because they have a 4 prime made, but they also have 11 of their checkers in the zone, so their blitz potential is massive. And if we split at the back, black should abandon that prime and go straight into blitzing us because they have so many checkers in the zone. So the 4 probably is reasonable enough. You come down with the 4. We could do the beginner's move and play 13 to 9 and then on to the 8-point. It's safe for now, but it leaves us really inflexible. So let's just put that back there. So then we have to decide what to do. We could split at the back, but even though black has a prime there, they've just so many checkers there that their blitz potential is massive. So splitting into that would be, again, just too dangerous. And even splitting, it might escape us, but it's a bit of a worry. So we could put that back. The correct move is not one that I have to admit. I wouldn't have done this. I think I would have done 13-8 just for safety, but it's definitely not the right move. When we'll see that next G. The correct move is actually play 6-5, and says, well, look, we've the low structure. We've the lower structure is usually mean the more likely to prime. Black has loads in the zone. If black doesn't roll a 4 next go, so black, or a 3-1 or a double twos, so that's 14 rolls. For the other 22 rolls, if black doesn't hit us, we have a great chance of making our 5-point, and then we've got a 5-point prime. So suddenly, I mean, if we got lucky and rolled double fours, it'd be just even better. But whatever happens, we have a 5-point prime there. We're if we don't get hit. So for this reason, the right move is just to come forward and say that, look, even though black has the 4 prime already, we're the people who are probably better placed to try and extend the prime, and black is the person who, if they get the slightest chance, is going to abandon their prime and blitz the hell out of us. So for that reason, 6-5 is the right move, and the splitting of the back move is a blunder. That's it for this Proverb 20. You'll be glad to know that's Proverb 20 done, and Mitchie has 21 Proverbs in his book, so we've just one final proverb to cover, and then we'll have covered the entire book.